trainer, my box had a shockingly good amount of matchups here. Most notably, water, which is now suddenly 4 times more effective. Since I knew this fur would always open up with Warm Hug, a fluffy type Thunder Wave, preparing my team with cherry berries made all the difference. I'd love to give you the play-by-play beyond this, but I really just had Sabrina spam Bubble Beam until passing the duet to Chapel, who threw rocks at Flannery's friendly dogs. With 4 badges now collected, May found me and opened up the door for even more encounters. Now that I can access the desert, I found a Baltoy named Monet, a Sandile named Avril, and what's so funny about this more in-depth playthrough of Too Many Types is that I learned this game had fossils in it, like the ones from Galar. It's been roughly 2 years since we released this, and I genuinely had no idea. Anyway, say hello to Mr. Fish. Also, I ended up making a pit stop to pick up the Firestone for Growlithe, as well as TM06 Toxic, but that's my Mystery Mascatool that's going to help us out later. Now, the infamous 5th gym was up next, and as you probably already know, it's my furry type dad. Given that his team is obviously part fluffy as well, water becomes incredibly relevant yet again. Beyond that, Lopunny also shows up to cement herself as the ultimate furry. Wait, does that just make me sound like a furry? At long last, I get to fight Dad. He opens up with a Float Soul who gets intimidated in the face of Beyonce and opens up with a Warm Hug that immediately gets invalidated thanks to a second cherry berry. The funniest part of having too many types to me is that sometimes this confusing type chart results in what should normally be a mono water type Pokemon like Float Soul ends up being weak to Aqua Tail. Similarly, the combination of Vaporeon's 3 types resulted in it being weak to Squirt Flower. Sure, it's a silly type move, but it still feels wrong. Then Sabrina tanked a Glum with 4 HP remaining. Like, oh my god, this girl can survive anything. After drowning yet another Pokemon with a fatal Bubble Beam, it was time for Ariana to deal with the Lucario problem. I honestly didn't see myself using this Pokemon again, so I was willing to sacrifice her for the cause, but then Lucario missed a Bone Rush, and our priority Plush Punch secured the 5th gym badge without a single casualty. I mean, personally, most of the hard parts in this run should be over, I think, now that Sabrina has evolved into a short and sweet Primarina, destined to sweep the entire game. No, really, like, I pick up a few more encounters, sure, but I really have everything I need. We swept through the Weather Institute, swept through the Rival, and swept through Winona thanks to a single glomping Lopunny. At this point in the story, the whole world has opened up with too many types and perhaps too many options. Now, thanks to evolutions, we're joined by Ninja Slash, Electivire, Serena, and a Crab-type Machamp. You know, because he has multiple arms. A few others were also picked up along the way, but like, I did not know until this run that Primarina kinda solos everything after Watson. So after returning to Lily Cove, I turned my team of monsters into a team of fighters. Strapped with incredible items, phenomenal movesets, and synergy destined to take down Moss Deep's gym leader of Clay. Yeah, Blazinscape. Gun types and is an infamous run killer due to Duraludon's signature shoot attack, which is really just gun-type Gigaton Hammer. This fight should be Nuzlocke hell. However, I did something right entirely by accident, and I have no idea how. For whatever reason, the AI behind Clay did not choose the shoot button a single time. Why? Again, I have absolutely no clue.
God, this
but I
is
did
so
something
fucking
to
cool.
manipulate the AI and made what's supposed to be Too Many Types' second hardest fight.
The cycle was hype, but like going to the Shrine of Resurrection and seeing that there's an entire divine beast beneath it, and it's the engine of the Master Cycle Zero.
Was this a
So fucking cool.
Yes, it was, actually. So, oops. With an ordinary amount of eco-terrorism now out of the way, I took stage against the final Owen gym leader. What used to be a water gym has now been infested with crabs. So this fight is actually a great
How do you not wake up from this, bro?
Is as powerful as she is, because despite what you'd expect, her song-type sparkling aria hits every single opposing crab.
Why do I have an attack up
damage
buff?
and one-shots them all. To make things even better, after collecting every gym badge and heading to Victory Road, I picked up a
Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I accidentally ate an attack up buff when I was supposed to eat a speed up.
I prepped him for success and shot Wally down
That's
right
kind of hilarious, but
similarly to my surf
guess I should
fiasco earlier, I might have
adapt
killed my own
accordingly.
Arcanine due to Flare Blitz recoil. If
I'll go
only
with
this could have
highly
been avoided.
impressive.
Now, all that's left to do is assemble the best 6 abominations I can to tackle the Elite 4 of the first Too Many Types. And since Sydney's team is a bit silly, I decided to threaten them with a sharp object like Eve Slash and stab my way through all of them. Since Phoebe is a known gamer, all of her team is weak to taking showers and touching grass. Which means between Primarina and Gyarados taking turns spamming Surf and Waterfall, we don't even get to experience all 5 nights. And as you all know, Larry from Paldea came over and subbed in with a team of boring type people. Luckily for me, Primarina, once again, gets to utterly demolish yet another team by spamming the same couple moves. Obviously, this is a sus-type team featuring the likes of Ditto with Imposters, Zoroark with Illusion, and Amoonguss. It's Amoonguss. And if I can be honest, I did something a little stupid. I knew there was a Zoroark on this team, and in that moment, I entirely forgot and lost an Aegislash that was supposed to win the fight for me. But at least we pulled through. So, 5 Pokemon remaining and a lot to lose from Nuzlocking my own game. It was finally time to challenge the champion of Wallace, but this was once the hardest battle in the game by far, and even now, it's still pretty damn hard. And despite the team building I did for the Elite Four, I did my absolute best to have the entire team built around Champion Wallace in particular. First off, they open with a sick and twisted Wynaut sporting a big attack that makes it weak to everything, as well as a reverse type that now makes it resist everything. That, in combination with Eviolite counter and Mirror Code, yeah, you gotta come to this fight prepared. Given that, I opened with Toxic and tried to break it down a little bit more with Surf, knowing I could at least survive one Mirror Code. Wallace wasted their only full restore, and to my surprise, switched Wynaut out with Shedinja, and ended up catching Primarina's misguided Toxic into a free kill, so sure. So now let's
And
give up
this
for Bully's
OST
first
is
and
so
only showing
cool
as a
too.
meat shield against Silvally.
It's a
So, I
remix,
figured out a
making it
Pokemon
really
whose
feel like the
attacks
final
attacks
shrine
doesn't
to
get
end all
16 times
shrines.
super effective.
Which is why I feel like it makes more sense to
Great for the
do
gaming
this
process, and instead
after you've already
it
gotten every other shrine, but like, I'm not gonna do that every
HP
time I
per
replay.
hit.
I
This
wanna
long
fucking
this
do
type
it. I
ended
wanna get the
being
Master
the most
Cycle
evil
0.
part of this game, and that's simply something. So cheesing it is kind of the only way to beat it, in my opinion. So I fight through the exploit, take down
Also, is this
Wallace's biggest
dungeon not
threat,
at all
and move on
changed
to
unlike
my
every
first
other
signature
Divine Beast?
crab-type
It's kinda
Metagross.
lame.
Beyonce dances, Metagross raves, and gets their kill before falling to the OU Latios in the back. Ariana starts chipping away until Wallace gets desperate and suddenly throws out the primordial crab of Deoxys. They scrapped for a while, and Ariana got close, but she could just not handle a beast like Deoxys. Luckily, Machamp comes out, and if I can be honest, yeah, I kind of forgot I brought him too. Aleesti's phone knocks his sister Crab out and proceeds to give up his very own life to that bloodthirsty Latios in hopes of both being able to take home for everyone. So with only one Pokemon left, Wallace breaks the emergency glass once again with the evil Wynaut. Unfortunately, the only thing I could do with Bowie was simply get painted a bit before sacrificing their life and everybody. But on the bright side, the only way I can use this now, like, sure, any attack would kill, but I can't risk that with Supreme Arena. So I clicked the toxic button, healed up, and watched that goddamn Wynaut die a slow and painful death. Right before immortalizing his team as the one who conquered Pokemon too many types. And soon, I'll do it again in the sequel.
The sequel.
Next, continue.
Sure, it's not enough. Right, I need an extender.
Mifa's grace is ready.
Did anyone else never notice this during their initial playthrough of this dungeon? Definitely not me. Damn, what the fuck? That's a lot of damage. There is one thing I know for sure has changed, and that's Monk Mascosia himself. Let's do this. Wait, Wait, you're not Monk Mascotia. What? How dare you? Oh damn! It's a Dark Link fight! Oh, holy shit! What the hell? We're underneath the map? We're in the depths? What is happening? Is this working as intended? Uh... Guys, we're out of the map. I don't think the map loaded in properly. Okay, I'm gonna try this again, and then we're gonna see if we're gonna look at our mods and see if there's any kind of conflict that could be causing this. For now, we'll see if a reset will do the thing. Teka. We're closing. Ay, bukas pa naman kay Alex, di ba? Hindi po, gagawin ko po yan bago ako mag-lunch. Ano pa? Yes po. It could be because I'm trying to use a hard mode of Monk Mascotia that this isn't working. That kinda sucks if that is the case. Shit's glitchy enough as is. I'm going to try a remerge. The Taj Mahal. Oh, why is it like this? Does anti-nightmare mode change Mass Kosha? wonder if there's like a video about it. I wanna see. There's nothing for Dark Army Resurrection. That one's just trailers and stuff. I guess one reason or another I can't do hard mode Monk Mask Koshia. I'm assuming that's the problem, and I will address it as such. If it still doesn't work, then fuck me.
World, Hyrule's different biomes contain their own unique weather patterns, climates, and weather phenomena that make the world feel dynamic. Sharing all the interesting details and intricacies about the system today, covered through the passion of self-meteorology. How does the weather work in Hyrule? All the different climates, Wild is split into 20 different climate zones. Each feature their own unique weather cycles and temperatures. We'll start by discussing the weather. Every 4 in-game hours, or 4 real-life minutes, the weather will move on from one pattern to the next, usually indicated by the forecast you can see on your bottom right. And this forecast is determined by the climate zone you're currently in. Some are different. The Hyrule Plains climate, for an example, features blue skies 60% of the time, cloudy skies 20% of the time, rain 10%, heavy rain 5%, and thunder another 5%. These are the percentages that determine the weather cycle of the region you're currently in. Time a new pattern is forecasted, it uses these the gods to determine the new weather. Whenever you move into a new region, it makes a new forecast in correspondence to the region's climate zone. Beyond the Hyrule Plains, some regions are a lot more sunny. It's the arid Tabanthas near perpetual blue sky at 94%, 4% chance of cloudy, and 2% chance of rainy. It only rains on average one block every 8. While the humid Farron region rains about 30% of the time between normal and heavy rain, or inclement weather within the subtropical zone nearby. Cloudiness and storms. Regions are amongst the rainiest areas in the game. Weather patterns here have a 30% chance of receiving rain in some fashion, tied with the temperate Zora climate, North Hyrule Plains climate, and the Dark Woods as well. Surprisingly, all these regions are rainier than the infamous Akala, said by many fans to be the rainiest region in the game, when in reality it's just amongst the cloudiest. Important thing to note here is that all rain and heavy rain and cold temperatures turn into snow and heavy snow respectively. So although the graphs feature a lot of rain in areas like Hebra, the Highlands, and Mount Lanero, it's only really seen in form. If you notice, none of the cold areas receive any lightning. Pretty true for most regions in the world actually. Super rare and is restricted to 5 regions, at either a mere 5 or 10% chance. However, due to the fact that rain turns into snow at low temperatures, possible to go to a high enough point in one of these storm regions to witness a rare spectacle, a snowy thunderstorm. Very unique given that there aren't a lot of high spots like this. Little mountain outside the edge of Hebra, Mount Drena, shows off quite nicely. Very cool indeed. More into how temperatures work though in a moment. But with all this different weather comes different weather phenomena. Weather conditions bend the rules of the zone a bit. Sometimes a specific event can override the normal weather cycle of what's supposed to be there. As the never-ending rain in Lanero when you first go there for the Divine Beast. Never-ending storms on the Thunder Plateau or by the Song of Storm Shrine. Patterns are meant to correspond with their pairing quests. Revert back to normal when they're complete. On the contrary, specific areas permanently bend the climate rules of the region to the infamous cold area on the Great Plateau, which goes against the rules of the main warmer climate zone it's under. They're all a case-by-case basis though, and I have a map of all of them. weather forecast shifts into that without leaving climate zone one of those areas. Finally, though, the infamous weather phenomena has to deal with the rain. Have you ever wandered around Hyrule on a sunny day only for it to randomly start showering, despite not being on the forecast? It's totally random, but it's actually due to a mechanic called blue sky rain. It creates random sun showers that can happen for a short period of time during clear weather. It happens in select regions, though, especially ones where rain is a normal part of the weather cycle. Stuff like this in arid Tabata or dry desert. Away from the weather of Hyrule, the crucial half to this has to deal with the dynamic temperature of the world that relates to the environment. Breath of the Wild displays temperature in the Fahrenheit system for the English version. Try to provide both Fahrenheit and Celsius numbers for everything up ahead. So Link's temperature meter represents his stability in climates. 60 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 Celsius being neutral, 32 Fahrenheit or 0 Celsius being like where Link
Is
starts
20
freezing.
really the average?
The real life temperature
I've
of water
never
starts
seen
freezing.
I've never seen it
104
go
Fahrenheit or
dip
40
below
Celsius is
28
the right temperature for heat stroke.
in my
Which Link will
country.
experience here without proper protection. Note that this temperature only reflects the current temperature of Link, while the temperature in the world. Normally, these two values always match each other, but if Link is currently staying by a fire to keep warm or standing in shade to avoid the desert sun, this will be reflected in Link's personal meter, but not in the base number of
Full
the map.
remix of the Labyrinth
Link is under
OST.
extreme temperature though. His hearts will start to drain half a heart every 10 seconds. Although most players don't struggle with finding protection against elements, do in the moment to help. Like shooting a fire arrow in combat will warm you up for a split second. Turn resets a 10-second damage cooldown. Go over every method of environmental protection now, and most of them are pretty well known. But in terms of what actually determines the specific temperature of a spot in the world, mainly climate zones. People have predetermined temperatures based on factors like elevation and time of day. For example, the open desert can be around 130 degrees Fahrenheit or 54 degrees Celsius, determined by the game's temperature data for the desert region. On this, the left number reflects the height value in this game's measurement system. We're at about 150 units, very low as the desert is, and the right number represents the temperature in Celsius. In this case, we're at about 54 or 130 degrees Fahrenheit, as it shows here. However, at nighttime in this same exact area, it doesn't pull from this list, but rather the corresponding nighttime version of the Gerudo climate. Much lower temperatures in the daytime due to the lack of sun. At the same elevation at night, our temperature is a much lower 22 Fahrenheit, -6 Celsius, and reflected by the data. Night temperatures both reflect danger zones of the desert region. Although these temperatures are set in stone throughout most hours of the day, there is a set time window where the day temperature is
I'm gonna try leaving and re-entering as well and see if that does anything. But for now,
temperatures are in transition between extremes here, which creates a Goldilocks zone in between times where the desert is hot or cold. Right space for base travel. Don't experience a phenomenon like this, the desert is the only one that has drastic day and night temperature shifts, while other regions' day and night shifts are a lot more subtle. But in other cases, regions have a consistent climate where wherever you are, regardless of day or night, your difference is so minuscule that it doesn't affect the player personally. Either it's too cold or it's perfectly fine. The time where it does matter is when the further you are from the ground, the colder it gets. The time to the Akala Citadel Tower is a notable one. Start getting near the top, high up, there can start freezing. They start super in your clan if you're doing it during the night or earlier. Parts of the Akala region similar to most others. Colder and colder the higher up you go. However,
no, it still doesn't work. What is causing this?
not getting cold after all. Where things go full circle, weather also has an effect on the current temperature of where you are as well. Weather is a part of things. 4 degrees Fahrenheit or 1 degree Celsius at the top of the floor at night. But in cloudy weather, it tracks the base temperature of a region by 2 Celsius or 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Enough to push this top area into the zone. Rainy or stormy weather, the temperature is instead subtracted by 3.5 degrees Celsius, 3 degrees Fahrenheit. For a region at nighttime with rainy weather and at its highest peak, mark the coldest that region could be. I think it's really cool that this game has a subtle detail with the weather. If you're climbing a structure, doing it in the day and while sunny may run you into no issue. The only area to have its tower temps be specifically suited around the weather and day. Hell, if it's nighttime and it's raining, cold enough in some areas to start getting snow as well. Rain turns into snow below 28 degrees Fahrenheit or -2 Celsius. Apply to a lot of other high points of elevation across the world, such as the Drena Mountain we were talking about earlier. But for now, it's relation to the climates of Hyrule. Weathers, and temperature ranges, and how these can interlock to create unique environments throughout the world. Glad that I could break all this down so we can understand the system one step better. The goal of this video and the entire Stats of the Wild series thus far was to make Hyrule a much more understandable place. In all these videos, there was lots of interest and entertainment found. Great things are up ahead with this game's upcoming sequel, and we'll definitely do a lot with that game. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye!
I'm a little sick of this cutscene by now. The last reason I can think of is the late Legend of Linkle dialogue mod, because of the way it changes Monk Mascotia to be Dark Link. It might have been trying to change the arena as well. So if we move this lower, it might do things. Put it literally at the very bottom. Reinstall options to go back to hard Monk Mascotia as well while I'm at it. Ah,
This video was brought to you by Squarespace. Little bit of boy, Pokemon, huh? They're always so interesting, aren't they? There's always so much to say, so much to consider, and all the Pokemon drama. You can't separate from the games. Pokemon Company jerks us around so much. They make this so much more complicated than it needs. It's games about fighting monsters. Like, come on. And no matter what I say, I lose. If I like the game too much, people yell at me. If I hate the game too much, people yell at me. So at this point, I don't know, man. I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't know. I just, I don't know. Here's my review of Pokemon Legends. Whatever.
I loved. I loved it. I felt like in basically every meaningful way, it was still the same Pokemon we've always had, but more. So immersive. The ability to manually aim and throw Pokeballs, whether to catch Pokemon or send out my own, it was a dream come true. I felt more like a real Pokemon trainer than ever. I was no longer just a sprite guy running around and initiating battles. There was a real time element, a world that moved even when I didn't. Suddenly, I had to keep my own personal safety in mind. There's nothing necessarily wrong with a game being strictly turn based, but for me, after so many years, I was ready for this. Ready for Pokemon to be something more traditionally video game, if that makes sense. And then there were the changes to the combat system, the same monsters and moves and mechanics and themes and all that, but now they functioned a little bit differently in this different context. I felt that Arceus represented the first meaningful, dramatic change to the formula, the first major advancement that Pokemon had made since the beginning, the first major leap, and I could not wait for them to build upon it. I don't know if I would say that Legends ZA builds upon what Arceus established exactly. It certainly continues it, but more than anything, it throws in another brand new spin. It takes another huge leap, and an even bigger one this time. So the idea is that something is causing Pokemon all over the city to spontaneously and unwillingly mega evolve and kind of go nuts. You're part of a team of kids working with this horrifyingly tall AZ guy and collaborating with a company called Quasartico to pacify these rogue mega evolved Pokemon and figure out why this keeps happening. I know basically every game has to set up the main character as the hero, but this game, it goes straight for the "you are the chosen one" narrative so fast, it's kind of disconcerting. Like, you arrive in town with no history, or even a reason to be there. You are inexplicably the only human being on the planet who has never had a single Pokemon in their entire life. And every time you perform even a basic task, like you knock out a Pidgey, and everyone is like, "Oh, you're the one who's gonna save this city." I'm like, save it from what? Why me? I don't know. Like, it genuinely feels like the whole game is one big scam. Like, everyone's working together on this elaborate scheme to get my credit card info or something. Or it's like a citywide prank. I'm waiting to get carried here. I'm gonna reach the last boss and beat it, and then the bucket's gonna fall on my head. Not a huge criticism or anything, but it is a little weird. Honestly, though, I do think the overall story is pretty decent. It's nothing really special, and it doesn't reach the emotional heights of Scarlet and Violet, but more than anything, I appreciate its theme. I appreciate the topics that it tackles. It feels just a little bit more grown up, slightly more mature and nuanced themes. The Pokemon world is often very ideal, almost utopian, and the villains are usually depicted as delusional freaks. But here we get to explore the theme of idealism by showing a city that is not ideal, and seeing how everyone has a different idea of what it would take to make it perfect. There are a lot of characters who are very different, and they have different ideas and hopes. Working through the ZA Royale, you'll meet a bunch of people who want to win so they can get their wish and make some big change and make Lumios into the city that they want. But everyone has to work together as a community to earn the future that they think the city deserves. Even bigger, Quasartico wants to create a city where people and Pokemon cohabitate. That's why they use this force field technology to create the wild zones where Pokemon can hang out. In all the trailers, it was really weird that these regular city blocks were just gated off and filled with Pokemon without really doing anything to the environment to better suit it to their needs. But apparently this was not simply artistic oversight. Turns out this is kind of a plot point. Many people in the city hate the wild zones and complain about all the problems they're causing. Mabel, the director of Pokemon Research.
Let's fucking go! Oh yes! That fucking electric blade? And he's one-handing it? Wow, I am good. Why can't I just do this? I thought I disabled easy. I mean, it might be because of my skills. Dude, you can just airwalk. Oh! Holy shit, that's a lot of damage. Huh, I barely got to see any of the last phase's special attacks. I mean, we already have the Master Cycle, but this is still really cool. I love how you can't skip this, even though you can skip literally every other cutscene for the. So cool, a pocket motorcycle. If the future does not have pocket motorcycles, I'd rather not. I'm perfectly content living even in the medieval era. Why are both of my bombs fire? I thought. Ooh. Nice try, blood-sucking jerk. That was cool. I like that. They said in the description that they weren't very good. They weren't a storyteller, but it was clear to me that they really went out of their way to make sure that they could still make a satisfying story with the best of their abilities. But yeah, probably because I'm fucking glowing.
Oh.
Good job. Hey, title drop again. The Bulko Bat we start the game with.
Welcome, warriors. I'd like to thank you for joining me here today, and for your bravery in accepting this fateful task. I officially appoint you Hyrule's champions, and bestow upon you this sacred garb. That blue is a symbol of the royal family.
Purple is usually the symbol of royalty.
For countless generations.
Like this light blue dye, I imagine is hard to get in this world.
Now wear were all
blue is a really hard dye to
my
come by
daughter,
if you go by Kochi Dye Shop. Like the Silent
Zelda,
Princess is one of the
I
materials, and that's
trust
pretty
you
rare.
with the task only a daughter of the royal family can fulfill. Lead our champions, Princess, and together protect our kingdom from the threat of Calamity Ganon.
Super exclusive party just so he can say some nonsense. Yep, bureaucracy. Feudal society in a nutshell.
I tell you, those formal shindigs really take it out of me.
I agree.
This is the Sheikah slate, eh?
It is. Apparently, there are more uses for it than we originally thought. Sadly, we've yet to decipher all of its secrets.
The princess showed me something strange recently. Somehow it can create true-to-life images.
Wow. I would love to see it. Princess? May I ask a special favor of you?
Fuck, because I don't have my house, I can't hang this photo on my house.
All right, this spot should work nicely.
Or actually, maybe it'll work just fine.
Keep
It's
your
not
eyes
the
on
most
the Sheikah
homey
slate,
place
everyone.
still, but... Yeah, it's nice to know Pyrrha
Daruk,
got,
can you crouch down a bit? You're as big as Death Mountain.
Huh? Oh.
What's with the glum face, Princess? Give me a big smile. Rivali, move your tail closer to the group.
Fine.
Mifa, you look so tense. Deep breaths, okay?
Right.
Stay just like that. Here we go. Smile. Click, snap.
And then Zelda has the gall to fucking replace this. When she fucking decides our house is now her house. I suppose the only way to heal the scars of the past would be to replace them with newer, happier ones. Man, your teacher is still a fucking mystery. Why does he have that? Was your teacher fucking Pura or Robbie? I mean, Robbie has that guitar riff, but like, that's not diegetic, isn't it?
I have watched your journey, every step. You have overcome every challenge with great courage. With the power that you have attained, I am certain you can defeat Calamity Ganon. Truly.
Awesome. How much wood do we have? Let's go splurge on our house before I go have lunch. Would have been nice if we got some giant souls for it too, but I guess a super form is still just as cool.
Urbosa's fury is ready.
$745. Oops, that was a waste of durability. Again, wasting durability is kind of the point of what I'm trying to do right now. You assholes.
Ah!
Rivali's gale is now ready.
Rivali's scale recharges so fast, it's awesome.
Race is ready.
Like I said, Master Tool. The Master Sword's good at doing everything. I like how they changed the HP of trees as well. To accommodate. Thought I saw Frog. Let's sell some stuff as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh. Ah.
Surely this will be enough.
Oh.
Running out of arrows.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, are those Injera carrots?
Oh. Oh.
Sure is. Yo, furnish my house. Now.
Ah.
Oh, I guess we don't need wood. Oh, nice. It's just money. And well, it's kind of a lot of money. 100 rupees is a lot in Hyrule balance. God, and he loves wasting time.
Ah. Oh. Oh. Hi. Oh.
Guess I'll go continue watching this review.
Why is always like complaining about the mayor? There's a good amount of conflict between city residents, and it feels kind of refreshing. There also isn't really a villain per se, which is equally refreshing. The game doesn't feed you a bunch of obvious character twists. There are a lot of morally gray characters you're not quite sure you can trust. Some who want to help the city, but are also kind of bad people. Like, one of them is essentially a mob boss loan shark. He scams one of the other characters and basically threatens to assault your whole team at one point. But he also cares about the city and wants to help it. He has all of his own motivations and whatnot. In fact, another huge theme is redemption. Like, redemption is a really, really big ongoing topic in this game. A lot of the bad guys from X and Y make their return here, and they're trying to navigate this world in the aftermath of that story. I mentioned Mabel, and she's basically on parole. Like, she talks about how she's not even allowed to leave the city, and she's putting in all this work because she kind of just has to. I can't say I'm used to seeing this many ex-criminals trying to reintegrate into society in a Pokemon game. So it's pretty interesting. Full transparency, I did not actually play X and Y. So most
Nice.
of this returning character stuff is kind of lost on me. But I'm sure anyone who did play X and Y will find all of this that much more enjoyable. There seem to be a whole lot of references and returning characters. And even with my
Yeah, the
relatively
monstrously
casual knowledge of
giant
the
guy,
Pokemon
and the
universe,
fact
it's
that he
fun to
doesn't,
catch all
he
these
just
other
calls him
references to
freakishly
events
giant,
from other games, times in history.
shows
I
that
like
he
it when it
really
reminds
hasn't
me
played
that
it.
this is one big interconnected world, and I can be like, oh, hey, I know that guy. Well, I played that game. The cool thing about Legends EA is that since it takes place in one city, it's got a unique opportunity to focus on a more consistent cast of characters versus the other mainline games where you're always traveling, so characters need an excuse to bump into every once in a while. Arceus was similar to this, but now you're not even roaming the wild. You're always right there in the city. You see all these people pretty regularly. Some of the throwaway trainers will come up multiple times. Sometimes you'll do a side quest for someone and then later fight them in the ZA Royale, which is really cool. Like, regular characters is one thing, but when do we get regular trainers? It's such a cool idea, in fact, that I think they could have done more with it. They could have used a lot more trainers with strong, unique personalities that popped up here and there. It's an idea that the game kind of touches on, but doesn't fully realize. Before we continue, I must remind you how this video was brought to you by Squarespace. You need a website, storefront, content library.
What does that mean? If you can't pull the saw, then don't push it.
Website where I could recommend things to
I'm afraid I'm not
anyone
really an
website.
engineer.
The whole thing seemed really scary and
A
hard.
computer
But don't fret,
science
Squarespace
engineer
makes it easy. Intuitive Builder lets you do basically whatever you want, and it's all
isn't
really
the
simple. You don't
same,
have to
you
do any
know?
coding. You can even start with a template if you want to make things like mega ultra easy. Before I knew it, I had a real nice looking website, I tell you. Doing the actual recommending is just as easy. Drafting up posts is no sweat. Formatting and embedding links and stuff is nothing. I can schedule everything to automatically publish whenever I want, and it'll even generate social media posts for you. If I really need anything fancy, Squarespace offers lots of powerful extensions, and they've also got a real nice suite of analytics.
What happened to
Right,
Carson?
which I
I don't remember where he
try
is and what he's
Squarespace
doing
for yourself. Head to
in
squarespace.com
Tears
for
of
a
the
free
Kingdom.
trial. Then when you're ready to launch, head to
Bolton helped out after the
10%
fucking
off your
pirates
first
attacked
website or domain. And
in
now for
Lurelin.
today's recommendation. This examines me. And years later, people are still pushing the boundaries of this meme. This is a 45-minute parody of My Dinner with Andre, and it weaves all of these Simpsons jokes into the dialogue. And in case you were wondering,
I watched
no,
it.
this is not AI. It is, in fact, thanks again, Squarespace. And really, this is a problem that kind of applies to a lot of the game. I do think the story and characters are enjoyable for the most part, and the city setting gives them more room to breathe. But I think the overall execution is at least a little off. The plot is fun, but it doesn't really have a lot of plot development. There aren't really a lot of twists and turns. For the most part, it all just kind of plays out as you'd expect until the last big thing happens. The conflict between Quasartico and the unhappy residents isn't really resolved. Your job is to stop these rampaging rogue Mega Evolution Pokemon, but you always get there just as each one is about to Mega Evolve, and you fight it in this weird magical boss arena. I was really hoping at least one, would actually like evolve suddenly and wreak havoc in some populated area. That would have been really exciting. It's like the problem doesn't quite get to even a problem. It always solve it first. And the characters. AZ is this super mysterious billion-year-old guy, and it's cool to learn about him and what he did in the past, but he really doesn't anything. There are no interesting scenes with him. You don't spend any real.
Hey, that's fine. You didn't do anything in the original game either.
Urbane. It feels like they've got something going on. Like something weird is hiding beneath the surface. And there's definitely some backstory stuff that eventually happens, but it's not as interesting as it like it was gonna be. Lita is a dancer, but that fact essentially never leads to anything more than her battle intro animation. She's really just kind of a person there. Naveen,
Aren't most Pokemon characters that way though?
his whole thing is that he's just a jerk, I guess. Honestly, I think I would be happier with how the characters are handled here if they were more likable. I don't know, it kind of feels like 80% of my time with the main crew was spent listening to the characters bicker with Naveen. Like, that's pretty much all of it. The entire chemistry between the characters, the whole group dynamic. Naveen is really grumpy, and everyone makes fun of him. But then he's also, like, obsessed with this streamer character, and it's got the makings of one of those jokes where the character does something slightly out of character. It's like, oh, he doesn't seem like he'd be that shallow, so this is funny. But, like, then that becomes his entire character. It becomes this humongous, ongoing shtick. And honestly, it's just not very fun to witness. Then you got the streamer herself. She's a spoiled brat. You've got the mob boss guy I mentioned earlier, like pretty much 95% of the way to a truly bad person, threatening me all the time. It's like, yeah, dude, you can't just pretend to be my friend after all that stuff that you did and said. There are other characters like this too. Kind of a lot of them, actually. Lumios. It really is a town full of jerks, isn't it? And it's funny because, again, I do actually think that's really refreshing. And I like how I get to see these characters regularly. But I also just don't think it's that fun to be around a lot of them. I enjoyed my time with them to a degree, but I didn't really become attached. There are some fun characters in there, don't get me wrong, and overall I think the story and the characters are good, even if they're not explored as thoroughly as I would have liked. At the very least, I can say that the humor is pretty on point. This is definitely the funniest Pokemon. Extra bite to the dialogue, a little touch of cynicism. But let's get to the most exciting part. Combat in Arceus felt like a really big step. It recontextualized all of the old stuff we were used to, and yet that was nothing compared to this. We have real-time combat in a Pokemon.
Really?
Real-time combat in a Pokemon game. Again, it's all the same.
You're the problem, Arlo.
And all that stuff.
Why aren't we allowed to have turn-based fun anymore in our games?
Just about power, accuracy, and effects. No.
Next you're gonna tell me you hate roguelikes.
Naturally have
I do genuinely hate roguelikes, though. Oversaturation. I prefer roguelikes to be the oversaturated genre over first-person shooters, to be honest. That has to do with the change of culture. Game development is so much more accessible now, and roguelikes just so happen to be a really good genre to make on a low budget. Not to say all roguelikes are low budgets, but it goes to show that a lot of the roguelikes people like the most, Hollow Knight, Binding of Isaac, the stupid Vampire Survivors, there you go. I almost forgot the name. And then the fucking game Astral Shift is gonna make. The people who made Pocket Mirror and Little Goody Two Shoes are making a roguelike now as well.
That will just about always hit, but there are plenty of times when you can avoid a move, or when a move will be blocked by a piece of the terrain.
It is the most video gamey genre ever, right next to FPSs. So like,
that it missed, but because like you looked at it and you could just see that it didn't land. That feels really, really nice. Changing out your Pokemon is also so fast and intuitive. As long as they're not in the middle of something, you can pretty much always pull them back. But instead of your opponent always getting exactly one whole turn free when you switch, now it just takes a few seconds for your Pokemon to come out and like roar and stuff and start fighting. So your opponent might land an extra hit on you. They probably will, but
hell yeah. Alright, one last thing to make the house complete.
they're doing it. Their timing was good. The game also doesn't tell you what's coming next. They give you a chance to always bring out the best Pokemon possible. But if you want to take a risk when they're bringing out the
Our
next
horsey.
fighter, you can always just pop out some
She lives there now.
and hope for the best. It's so fluid. You're always making snap decisions. I just love it. You don't even have to go into your...
You know, it's canon now. That isn't just a horse named Mara. That is Mara.
Come out first. Pokemon management.
And after this, Linkle becomes an official member of yyyy.
I've said it before and I'll say it again.
The harem builds. The harem grows.
Biggest advancement that we have ever seen in the series. I think there will always be a place for turn-based.
Hell yeah, I would. It's so faded now. Right, what should I display? Why do I have this? You know what? I'm just gonna buy a new ancient bow. 360 durability. I've practically used up most of it. So I'll say it's all fair. That is square. I wanna keep it. You know, let's get head.
Oi!
The Master Cycle Zero, fueled by teeth. It could be worse, it could be currency.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't consider the armor part of completion. The game very much agrees with me. I kind of want to just sell the Barbarian set. But at the same time, I don't really wanna. It's ugly individually, but like, wearing the whole set is pretty badass. It's a pretty badass set. I'll just go sell some more diamonds or something.
Hmm. Oh. Ah. Ah. Hmm. Oh. Ah. Ah.
I do have a chest key, right? I have 3. Please head. Fuck. A 1 in 4 chance. Which is obviously better than in the base game, where it is basically a fucking gacha. What do you mean, Divine Beast Vanabor's main quest? There you go. I don't like the empty eyes too much, as well as the long flowing white hair. Not a fan of long hair in general. But that's just me. What is auto placement? Sure.
I think the mainline games will probably always be turn-based. That's why they created the Legends games, so they could kind of go in this direction as well. And again, I do not dislike turn-based games. They are valid games, but to me personally, this is more fun. It's
You're
completely
part of the problem.
fun. It is absolutely the most fun that Pokemon gameplay has ever been. And it's because it's not changing at its core. It's basically the same rock, paper, scissors kind of game, but now there are all of these other variables to consider. The strategies are almost completely different. It's just more, so much more. I play really casually, like I'm not even good at this game, but even I can see the potential to fine-tune the sets, figure out all the animations, the timing, and which moves to use together, and precisely how to time each thing that you do. Learn when to hold back for just a second before launching an attack to make sure your timing lines up better. There's so much room for experimentation. And oh, glorious day, these battles are fast. They're blazing fast. I don't hate turn-based
Not a fan of the
combat, but I
Atelier
do
spin-off
hate
series
wasting time
using
with the old
real-time
games.
action.
So
At least in the sequel. Blue
agonizingly
Reflection
slow.
Second
This right
Light
here, this is fast and
is fun,
intuitive. I'll talk more
but
about
I
this
didn't.
day rolling
I
out into the
much
wild
preferred the
zones in a
first
bit, but
game
like,
just
you
being
roll into the Royale,
proper
you take out
turn-based.
a ton of trainers in one night, just bam, 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 knocking them down like dominoes. Then you roll into a wild zone, catch a whole bunch of Pokemon, bam, 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 bam. Like there's so little downtime when you're in the thick of it. This game also fixes the item problem. I have always hated how if I want a Pokemon game to be challenging in the slightest, I have got to stop myself from using items. Because I can just buy all the revives and max potions I want and use them whenever. But now there's even a cooldown on your items. So while they still really help, they're not something you can use as a crutch to like prop yourself. Now this real-time thing, it's not absolutely perfect yet. It can be a little bit janky. Pokemon can be pretty stupid. They may try to like stand in a specific spot before launching an attack, and they'll just like not mess. And a lot of this is because you're fighting in a city which has got all these different obstacles, and sometimes you get into a battle with a trainer on a different level, and the Pokemon don't quite know how to do it. Every once in a while, you'll even get a legitimate glitch. There's definitely room for refinement here, but for the most part, it works really well. Arceus made me feel like a quote-unquote real Pokemon trainer. But even then, it was a little awkward. Why is some stuff real-time, but then other stuff is still turn-based? This right here goes all the way with the idea. The idea of making the player feel like they are actually there. They're not just selecting all of this from a menu. They're there throwing the Pokeballs and calling the shots. This is the closest Pokemon has gotten to feeling kind of real. Like it kind of represents the sort of thing you see in the anime. And this is the Pokemon game that feels the most like a true modern Pokemon game. The kind of one I dreamed of playing someday when I was a kid. And you know, one reason this is so immersive is that the new system extends beyond battle. Like I said, switching out your Pokemon is so intuitive, and you've always got a Pokemon following you. Indoors and outdoors. There are no limitations. Everywhere you go, your partners are there with you. It is a bit of a shame that you don't get more interaction with your Pokemon, and there's no way to, like, rock them or anything, but even them just following you around and hanging out is really great. And every new thing the game does mechanically is at its absolute best in Rogue Mega Evolution battles. This idea itself represents a culmination and near perfection of something that Pokemon has been working toward for a whole generation. Pokemon Go, Dynamax battles, Terra Raid battles, even the big battles from Arceus. They have been building up this idea of facing off against an extra strong Pokemon, essentially like a boss battle. And it's always been fun, but this right here, this is what they did. The real-time combat system changes everything. It's all the fun of running around and avoiding attacks like in Arceus, but without the awkwardness of throwing stinky bags at them and engaging in turn-based combat only sometimes. No, this is the whole shebang. Here, your positioning really matters, both for yourself and your Pokemon. You've got to try your best to avoid these attacks. It is non-negotiable. These rogue megas are massive and have unique moves and animations versus using them in regular combat, and it makes every single encounter unique, like a true boss battle. And also, unlike Arceus,
Well, I want
there
2
are
of them.
tons of these battles. Pokemon cheaps out on a lot of stuff, and of course, we'll be talking about the overall value of the game later. But I really do think these rogue mega battles add a lot to the experience. They didn't just make these Pokemon big and buff their stats. Each of these is a bespoke battle, and they are crazy, just absolutely thrilling at times. And they're even more fun thanks to your own Mega Evolving abilities. Regular attacks don't do as much damage, but they can knock this Mega Energy stuff out of them. And if you build up enough, you can Mega Evolve your Pokemon temporarily and do a lot more damage. You can even keep it going by collecting more energy fast enough, which is really great. And if your Pokemon can't Mega Evolve, their moves can be upgraded to plus moves, so you can spend a little chunk of your gauge to launch one
Dude, I'm
extra
never
strong
gonna get
attack. This all adds
the
another
ancient
layer of strategy, gives you
this
another thing to
camera
consider
upgrade.
in balance and time effect, as well as just making the battles that much more entertaining. There's a real spectacle about this game with all the Mega Evolving that goes on, especially the first time you play when you haven't seen all the new Megas yet. And especially for someone like me, who wasn't really familiar with most of these Megas in the first place. Even just the process of slowly building up a team of Mega Evolvers and acquiring all the right Mega Stones is really satisfying. So let's go over the gameplay loop and break down the other major aspects of the game. During the day, you explore Lumia. NPCs providing side quests are all over the place, like really, really all over the place. And there are watch zones where you catch Pokemon. When night falls, battle zones pop up where you can take part in the annual route. As you progress in the Royale, you open up story beats. Primarily, these take the form of rogue Mega Evolution battles. Other story stuff and battles with other characters are kind of peppered throughout, but that's the gist of it. That's how you spend pretty much the whole game. I like the day and night cycle. It runs on a real-time clock, so when enough time has passed, it transitions between night. I think I just like games with real-time days, but no overall limit on days or a penalty for taking too long. It's like Pikmin 2 and 4, or like Stardew Valley. The slight limitation gives structure to my day and encourages me to see how much I can get done, but it doesn't like require me to move. It also kind of forces me to spend an even amount of time between activities rather than burning all the way through one thing and neglecting another. It creates a nice flow, a nice balance. And you can always wait on one of these very authentic, big-sitting, anti-homeless benches to pass the time, so the system never gets in the way. Exploring and navigating Lumios is decently fun. It does that modern Pokemon thing where items are just everywhere. Everywhere. Got the bigger, flashy Pokeball items and the smaller, sparkly items, but both seem to respawn faster than you can even pick them up. I do get the point. You know, this
Sure
does
is so
something
much.
all the time. Like, no matter what, no matter where you're going, you always get that little like breadcrumb of dopamine hits. The little teeny tiny, like, ooh, that you know what I mean? Kind of tricks you into thinking you're having fun all the time. And it is true that it's satisfying. It is kind of nice, but it does feel much sometimes. Like, it's basically infinite items if you take the time to pick them all up. Similarly, you've got these Mega Crystals growing all over the place, and when you break them, you get Mega Shards, which find Mega Stones, XP. It's another thing where it's something to do between the other things, something that spawns infinitely, which
I like the ponytail so much.
Kind of fun. I do like very much how you have your Pokemon attack. In Arceus, you would send out a Pokemon, and it would automatically break a rock or shake a tree. Here, you order them to attack it directly.
If there's a reason to get long hair, it's for a ponytail. That might be a reason why I fell in love with Monica. She's got good style. What can I say? She may be a psycho, but she's got style. She's a psycho with style, and that's the best kind of psycho, you know?
But it really, really does something for me. It does something for the way this game feels. In case you couldn't tell already, in case I haven't mentioned it 1,000 times, with Pokemon, I'm always looking for them.
I hear someone silently screaming through the screen that she's not a real character, a real person, and to which I reply, yeah, and?
And having it use just the right kind of move. It's not groundbreaking design.
You gotta open your mind and your heart. Stop being such a fucking bitch.
Common or hard to overcome, but it's easy to see them. how a bigger adventure may require you to use your Pokemon.
You're one of those twitards who fucking complain about CP because someone drew a little anime girl or a little anime boy, but you're secretly one of said people, said pedophiles you're supposedly against.
Sometimes you'll need to dive off ledges, Dark Souls style, and eventually you get the ability to do this little mid-air glide thing. I don't know if you can call it a glide, but it's kind of cool. And I am not against this whole idea. I do think it's fun in its own way, and it's definitely, you know, a new thing for Pokemon, and it helps make the process of exploring more involved. You know, you certainly get a lot more verticality here than you would in a traditional Pokemon. The problem is that the idea is very half-baked. The controls are quite sluggish. What things you can and can't climb on is not clearly established or marked. Like, you can pull yourself up on a ledge, but only on these specific slopes. And then, like, sometimes there'll be, like, a little pile of boxes, but it's not really, like, you're not really sure if you're supposed to be using it this way. Could have used some yellow paint. Too often, you'll find yourself stopped from going where you need to go.
Yeah, those are fighting words, you can't just say that.
Some little, like, railing or feature of the roof you can't get over. The game really could have used in, like, a tiny little jump, like a little knee-high hop. It just feels like the game tasks you with navigating these places and, like, trying to figure out how to get somewhere without actually giving you the tool that you need to do it intuitively. And it's the worst whenever you've absolutely got to get something for a quest, or like a rogue mega evolution battle. Those are really often up on the roofs. And sometimes you just cannot find your way onto the top of the building. There are ladders and elevator pads kind of peppered about, but they're not always easy to find. They're not always
How many
there.
sprues do I need?
Be one for the building.
A lot.
So you gotta figure out which building close by you can get on, and then somehow make your way to your destination, or like glide over to it. And this is where the awkward controls and the slapdash platforming really get in the way. Sometimes you're so close to landing on the other building that you're like, did I mess it up, or is that what I'm supposed to, like, what do you want me to do here? I don't know, maybe the point was to make traversal its own kind of puzzle. You know, took a page out of the Breath of the Wild book. Getting there is its own kind of challenge, but if that's what they were thinking, that they did not execute properly. Way too often, figuring out how to get somewhere is only tedious and annoying and requires a whole lot of running around. Just running around the outside of buildings, getting nowhere. Now, like I said earlier, side quests are very useful. You are looking for something to do. Got a nice I like silly side quests. Like, if I'm having enough fun with a game, I don't mind some busy work. Yeah, sure, give me the box. It's something to do. Though I do think these could have been a little bit more interesting on average. And really, I'm having a hard time telling if these quests are less substantial than the ones in Arceus, or if I just wasn't into them this time around. But my gut says that there are probably a few too many, and they're a little bit too boring. Most of them are just, bring me this Pokemon, or bring me this item, or fight me, and I'm going to use this really specific kind of move, which is kind of supposed to be like a tutorial thing, but usually you take them out in seconds, sometimes before they can even show off their thing, like their signature. They don't even get to do it. It's a little bit anticlimactic. There are certainly a few standouts, though, with a whole lot of characters. Some of the side quests really are delightful. Like I said earlier, it is a very funny game. There is some genuinely funny writing to be found, and a lot of it is here in these side quests. I just think it could have used a few more of those more substantial, memorable, like the museum, for example. It's really funny how a really good side quest can make millions of people fall in love with a Pokemon that, to my knowledge, I don't know if anyone cared about this thing before, but now, like, it's everyone's favorite. Let's talk catching Pokemon. Your main catching experience is going to happen in wild zones, naturally. There actually are a few wild Pokemon kind of peppered throughout the city outside of these zones, mainly in trees and on rooftops and posts and such, which I think is a really nice touch. It feels a lot more natural, because why would every single individual Pokemon be 100% but the best Pokemon got it. No. Arceus put a really big emphasis on catching without battle. Trying your best to sneak up on a Pokemon. and choose the precise moment you want to manually throw that ball. Once more, it cannot be overstated what this does to the feel of the game. I now have absolute freedom. It is on me to instruct my Pokemon, it and myself out of danger, and go for the catch when the moment is right. It's no longer something I do using a series of menus, Now it's this hands-on, very tactile kind of thing where I'm in charge of every element. And here's something that makes a massive difference. Up until now, talk to Pokemon, disappear, and no longer catch it. It never really made much difference, especially when compared to how it works in the anime. If you knock a thing out, that's when I should catch it. What do you mean it disappears? I know they ended up talking about it in Arceus, but whatever. It was all but just a wild Pokemon is not generally so disagreeing. Yeah, you have to get that as low as possible without knocking it out. That's right, knocking out a Pokemon opens up a short got one chance to catch it before it disappears. One ball, get it, breaks out, gone. This is so it speeds up the game even further by lowering the strict need to tiptoe around the small look down while the other Pokemon are wailing on you, and it's still worth being careful if you really need to catch something, but if the stakes are low enough, just blast them, go for the catch, and try again later if it doesn't work. It makes for such a smooth, breezy experience. There's a real flow to running around and fighting and catching. And I talked about that a lot in my Arceus video. Oh, how it kind of created a flow. But even that flow would be interrupted by real-time battles. Like, this is the flow fully flowing. The river
The root
just
protection
flows
is now ready to roll.
and more. Legends Arceus gave us these huge areas to explore, hunt Pokemon in. EA reduces the catching element down, kind of distills it, and contains it within these relatively small spaces. That it feels like a downgrade at first, like how must it like seriously to the epic vistas from before just teaming with Pokemon. But it turns out this provides a very experience that's absolutely fun in its own way. The Pokemon in this game, perhaps as a result of being crammed into these little spaces, can be very, very aggressive. But in wild zones, just as dangerous as you would imagine they can be in real life. When you're trying to catch something or get somewhere, but all of these Pokemon are all exactly the same. More magic, especially when you throw in alphas. They start to find these extra big specimens with beefed up stats and OEIs that are all just hell-bent on murdering you. And these are additionally over-leveled a lot of the time, so you've got to avoid them entirely until you're strong enough, which adds an even greater sense of danger. I love it. Just like with Arceus, I love actually feeling a little scared. It's an intensity that did not used to exist in Pokemon. There are Pokemon that will destroy me if I'm not careful. Because, why would the Pokemon world not be dangerous? Look at these things. Read their Pokédex entries. They can, destroy suns and stuff. Yeah. Every once in a while.
Yeah, some of those Pokédex entries. I don't think a lot of care, time, or effort were put into Pokédex entries. And I'm fairly certain that's the case since the beginning and even now.
Who do they think they are? And the alphas respawn almost instantly, often the same ones in the same spots all the time. So there's really no rest from it. Every time you come to this area, you're costume. But yeah, it is a little bit more realistic, isn't it? And overall, this whole system is just jumping into a wild zone, and suddenly everything is going wrong. It's more like a war zone now. And a couple minutes later, you come to the wrong map, all your Pokemon knocked out.
They're actually trying to dodge my arrow. What the hell? A giant ancient core. Oh, sure. The ancient set is 1,000. I'm so glad I disabled campfires respawning monsters. It makes the game a lot more peaceful. As hard as I want the game to be, an important part of the game is its atmosphere of serenity and peacefulness. Time for lunch.